Who used to live here?
Well, Tom Collister lived here.
Uh-huh.
He was the first one that lived in the house after it was built. And another thing that's happened around here, Walker Range Patrol has expanded, and they using a lot of people's backyards for storage for their equipment.
Are they?
Oh yeah, see all that up in there?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You got it off?
And turned off. Yeah. Who lived here?
Orrin Sample. He was he's been the shipping clerk. I think that's what you called his job. Head of the shipping lumber anyhow, until he retired 5 or 6 years ago. More than that. And then he moved over to Eugene. And the other house on ahead of us here is where Curtis Brazil lived.
Uh-huh.
He was the dry kill superintendent, and he lived there.
It's got some nice white shutters on it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And what about this house over here on the right now?
That house was built for a foreman, built for the railroad foreman.
Uh-huh.
And then after a few years, why then he become Walker Range manager for Walker Range, and Walker Range is a made up part of the Forest Service, and is paid by individual, sawmill owners and woods owners and stuff like that. They're not paid by the state.
Oh.
And he lived there until he retired, and then they've been 2 people living there since then. And it's growing fast. It's bigger than it used to be.
Uh-huh. Well, with all our dead timber problems, we've got more land to watch out for.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got patrols in the other than in the wintertime. Why, he's got patrols out all the time. And now the guy that lives here on the other side of the street is one of the sawmill foremen.
Uh-huh. What about this next house coming up here?
The house on the left-hand side?
Uh-huh.
Well, that house was built for Albert Carmichael, and he was the manager of the office. He came out here when the company came out here in 1937. In the fall of, in the midsummer of 1937. And he was the office manager. And so I hear now that they open up a lumber yard somewhere or another in Memphis, Tennessee. I believe it's Memphis, Tennessee, and they sent him back there to operate that. Now, I could be wrong about some of that, but anyhow, he had an automobile accident back there and was killed.
Well, what year was that?
I believe it was in the late 60s.
Oh, so he was living there for quite a while.
Yeah.
And this is a big house here on the right.
That house was built for a fellow by the name of B.B. Wright, and he was the overseer when they built the town, and he would fire you for cussing. And he did. A very religious man. And he was the overseer of the town site when it was being built. And he came from the south out here in about 1912 or 14, I'm not sure about that. But he lived in Bend, and he made trips to Klamath Falls in a T-model Ford, and the old trail in places is still back up behind town up here that went through the woods. It'd take him all day to go from Bend to Klamath Falls, and but he lived in Bend until all of this started here. Then he lived down here.
Huh.
And then after the town was built, the company built him a house, and that was it. And he didn't live very long. He was a pretty old man at the time that they was building the town, and he didn't live too long until he died. Then the sawmill superintendent moved in the house after that, Mr. Schatz, and he lived there until he retired. And then the house on our left side over here was built for the office manager, Albert Carmichael. And he lived in it until he moved from here.
And what's on up at the end of the street up here?
What, this one?
No, we've...
Lives in that house now. And I guess he'll live there till he leaves here.
And it's a pretty big place down here at the end of the street.
That house was built for Frank Gilchrist, Jr. The word is that Frank's house, that Frank's wife wanted her a house built, and they built it up here. And for some unknown reason, after they was up there a few years, why she decided she didn't like it, and they went back down to the big houses down next to the pond. And now the president of the company, Charlie Schatz, lives in the house now. Now this house that we're coming up to here on the left-hand side, they've been a highway patrol lived in that house for a long time.
Now these houses are built different from the other houses also.
Yeah, they was all prefab houses, come from California, is what they said. And they was made for they was engineered for Southern California country, and when they was brought up here, why they wasn't much good for this wintertime weather we have up here. They was hard to heat, They had flat tops on them, and they had a lot of trouble with them until they finally put a roof on them, fastened onto the house and put a roof on them. And that was okay. They was okay after that.
They're all brown now. They used to be different colors, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They used to be different colors.
Seems like they've put little roofs on the garages too.
Some of them, yeah. Well, they the garages just, heck, wasn't much good.
Yeah.
Until they put these tops on them. And then it made a real nice place out of it. But then there've been a lot of people move in and move out from here. Especially this side of town. This feller lives to my left here is a feller that works over at the truck shop, helps keep up the company trucks and stuff. I don't know all these people that live.
So high turnover here, huh?
Yeah, I don't know who lives here. I don't know how long they've been living in and nothing. And this house coming up here to my left again is a young fellow that was raised here.
Who's that?
Jeff Burcham.
Oh, yeah, He used to live in the one up on the end, didn't he?
Which end?
The house right up over there.
Might help.
Yeah. And the second one coming up here is Scott Carolyn's, huh?
Yeah. And this house next, this one on the left up here, over here, he's a fellow that's been here for quite a while and works at the planer mill.
Well, it looks like some people are home.
Yeah. Yeah. And then this place here is Scotty Hill, where Scotty Hill lives. Hey there, boy. How you doing? Is your daddy home? Huh? Your daddy home? It must not be because it's cars. Okay. Is your mother home? Uh-huh, okay.
Want to head on?
And this house to our left up here again is the head electrician lived in it until he retired a few years ago.